Charlie, tell me about your smallest square number. What is it?
My smallest square number is 2 by 2.
So what's the number?
4.
Those are the dimensions, right? So if we take Charlie's, the smallest square number that he made on his desk, he said it was a 2 by 2 because it's 2 squares wide and 2 squares tall. But there are 4 squares altogether, so the total number of squares is the square number. In other words, we would say 4 is a square number because we can make a square out of 4 tiles. So I have an important question to ask you. Could I make a rectangle out of 4 tiles? Just breathe, could I?
Yeah, you can.
I could, right? I could take 4 tiles and make a rectangle. But to be a square number, it doesn't matter if you can make a rectangle. It just matters that you can make a square. I'm going to give you a non-example. So something that is not a square number would be 6. 6 is not a square number because I can make lots of rectangles out of 6. I can make funny shapes out of 6. I can still make funny shapes out of 4. But no matter what I do, I can't seem to turn this into what?
Square.
A square. So because I can't turn it into a square, 6 is not a square number.
Makes so much sense.
Raise your hand if that makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense.
Okay, great. Good start. So I like your attitude, Devin. Can you give me a square number that's between 15 and 30?
Anything?
Is 20 a square number? How can we test that?
Oh, maybe we could.
Like, what could I do with the tiles? What do you have in front of you? Well, how can I tell with 20 tiles? What if I got 20 tiles? Watch. That's 6. That's 12. That's 18. And then let me erase it. And we need 2 more, right?
Yeah.
And we don't know if this is a square number or not, so I'm going to put it in the middle. And then I need 2 more. So the job is, if 20 was a square number, I would try to have to form what?
A square.
A square, right? So a good way to do that would be to list the factor pairs of 20. What's 1 times 20 makes 20. What about 2 times
10.
10? What about 3? Does it go into 20?
No.
How about 4?
4 times 5.
4 times 5. What about 6 or 5?
5 times 4. And then that's what it leaves.
Repetition, right? So I have all the factor pairs. So the only shapes I could make would be a 1 by 20, which would be really long and skinny, or a 2 by 10,
Oh, I know. 25 would work.
there we go, because a 2 by 10 is a rectangle, right?
Yep.
Or I could do a 4 by 5,
Yeah, we could do 25 and that would work.
but that's still not a square, is it?
No.
So we're going to put 20 on this side, and we're going to call 20 a great non-example. 20 is not a square number.
I know 25 is for sure.
That's right.
Because you can do 5 times 5 now.
Exactly. So without making a 25 on his desk now, he's using factor pairs. So Devin says, I know 25 is a square number because when I write the factor pairs of 25, what do you see there, Devin?
I see 5 times 5, and that means it can be a 5 by 5 square.
That's perfect, right? He sees this factor pair is a matching factor pair. So that matching factor pair could make a 5, bless you, a 5 by 5. Don't you wish your notebook was like this?
That'd be amazing.
I know, it just would be. I think that every
It'd
time
make it so much easier.
it does. So I can make a 5 by 5. Bless you.
That's
And
me in the morning.
It's a 5 by 5, so the square number is how many squares there are all together. So we would say 25 is a square number. Isabel, you had your hand up. Did you have some other examples or non-examples?
I actually have a question.
Question.
1 is a square number.
That's a great question. What do you think? Is 1 a square number?
Yes.
Just 3?
Yeah.
Yes, why? Because a 1, right here, this is an example right up here, this is a 1 by 1. He said the dimensions are the same. The dimensions are the length of the side. So whenever these match, you have a matching factor pair. So 1 is also a square number. Emma.
So with the tiles, if you were like,
And then just read, I'll take it.
if you were doing 5 by 4, it would not turn out to like a square.
Whenever you can't make a square, it's not a square number. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Sometimes you can take a square number and turn it into a rectangle, but it's still a square number if you can make a square. The other thing is, Emma, when you write the factor pairs out, you see a repetition. So suppose I didn't draw the rectangle. There's another way to tell, but let me hear Jaspreet's question first.
Just like last night.
Last night's homework, I made a mistake and I gave you one problem early about square numbers. Exactly. But I thought you could do it. You could have done the problem. Prime numbers cannot be square numbers. So let's put that on this side. Those are all non-examples. Prime numbers are never square. Do you know why? Jaspreet?
Well, like the only factor is number 1 and itself. And then, say like for the 1, and it has a good square, and then 4 they just have.
Okay, so I'm going to say what he said a little bit louder. When you look at square numbers, you have a number, you have more than just a number in itself. You also have, that was a mistake. Like in the case of 25, you have the number and itself, but you also have a pair of other numbers. So prime numbers never can make a square because it's 2 different numbers, and 2 different numbers makes a rectangle. That's really good. Sean.
So, if you like asked to explain a square number, could you say that it was a number that you get by multiplying the same number by itself?
Perfect. I love the way you define that. So a square number is a number that is made by multiplying the same number by itself. I'm going to write that down here. Any number formed by multiplying a whole number by itself. And the reason I said a whole number, it can't be like a decimal. Square numbers are whole. Perfect. So this is the notebook. And tomorrow, when you come into class, I'm going to give you time to look at my notebook, which is your class notebook here, and summarize square numbers. I'm also going to post this video, and I'm going to stop the video, but after I stop it, I'm going to ask around the classroom. You guys are going to give me, I'm going to come up with lots of different square numbers. Or maybe I'll just leave that recording. So Aiden, give me a square number that we haven't talked about up here.
I did maybe a 3x3.
So he made a square number with a 3x3. So what is the square number? How many tiles?
Oh.
9 is a square number, and you make it by making a 3x3. Lindsay.
I made a 7x7.
So she made a 7x7, but what's the square number then?
29. Or no, not 49.
49 square number. Okay. Jack, what's your square number that you can make?
100.
100. And how do you make 100?
10 by 10.
Perfect. So do you guys understand the number inside, like right here, that's the square number. The dimensions aren't. So he said he made his square number is 100. The way he would make it is multiplying 10 by 10. Okay, what about you, Chloe? Can you come up with a different one?
A 5x7.
So if you had a 5 by 5, what's the square number? It's a multiplication problem, right? You have a 6 by 6. So what's your square number?
36.
I'll come back to you when you figure it out. Brittany, let her do 6 by 6. Do you have a different one?
5x5.
So the square number is 25. What about some other ones? Jacqueline?
4x4.
A 4 by 4, so the square number is?
16.
So 16 is a square number because it's made by multiplying 4 times 4. How about 144? Is that a square number?
Yes, sir.
How do you make that, Ellie?
12 by 12.
Good. How about 121? Is that a square number? Yes. How do you make that? 11 by 11. Good. What about 7? Is that a square number? No. But 49 is.
It's like I don't know how to explain it. It's like what you use. Is there like a name for the number that you use to make a square number? Or is it just
Factors. The factors are the same.
But it's not like a special word for square number?
No. And last one, Chloe, what was your square number?
36.
36. Good. 36 is a square number found by multiplying 6 by 6. Good.